Surfboard fins have a major influence on how you and your surfboard perform together. Sure, there's magic in the surfboard design, but it's the fins that brings that magic to life. So we're going to check in with some of the world's best surfers and chat to them about their preferred fin templates.
What's up, Crosby? How you doing, buddy?
I'm happy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So we're here looking at your surfboards. So you got about 25 surfboards.
Well, I just got some new boards, but I got a couple Magic boards sitting here too.
So, as in your everyday fin, what are you on?
Right now, I'm on the Kolohe fin. Kolohes are just my go-to because they work so good. They're like reliable around here. I feel like every time I go surf, I'm always like coming back to the Kolohe fin.
But it is a bit flexier right there. According to Crosby, this thing's are spring-loaded.
It definitely feels like going from like this fin to the Fleet fin, going from the top to bottom, it's way more like up and down. Where I feel like the Fleet's a little bit more like drawn out, but it still has that like up and down and like release.
Nice.
You know, and especially with these fins, it's like when I do a blowtail, I can feel the like kick and spring out of the top of the wave.
So when you're in Hawaii and you're surfing 6 to 8 foot Haleiwa, do you stay on your Kolohes or do you drop down to medium? Do you go larges and medium in the middle?
Usually if I'm riding like a 6'4" and above, then I'm usually putting mediums in. Usually when I travel, I'm not really like trying to like bring a bunch of fins, so I'm like messing around with boards and I'm kind of getting my head before a contest. But I do travel with the Kolohes and I travel with the Fleet fins because if I was to get somewhere and my boards were feeling slidey or like the fins were feeling slidey, then I'd pop the Fleets in and like they feel like more grippy or I can have more hold on a wave. This is my like kind of Magic board right now. It's been on ice since I rode it last in Narrabeen. It just felt different in like kind of cuppier waves.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like it had more hold, and I think it had more flip in the tail and like a little bit thinner. I tried the Kolohe fins and the Fleet Bay fins in this board. I think with the difference that I felt with the fins when I was trying it at Snapper was that I felt like the board already had maybe like enough flip back here where it felt like it stayed in the wave enough.
Yeah.
So then when I put the Kolohes in, it still would hold through turns because it felt like more rail was like in the water still.
Yeah, it's a nice little curve.
Out.
Looks like you're just leaning on that back foot and just unloading in the pocket here.
Yeah. And those fins felt so good with it because they had that like release and that spark out of the lip and from the bottom too, like where the Fleeps felt a little bit slower but still great, you know?
What do you use when you're just kicking back on a beautiful Sunday morning?
Wake up on a little Sunday morning, a little kickback.
Yeah.
I just got this little pretty board right here from Matt. It's a quad, and I've actually never had a quad. I've never tried a quad in like my normal shortboards. It felt insane, like holding through cars. It felt like I could do a carve and it would hold the whole way through and then come out with speed.
Nice. So you're using the Matt by Ollie fins on there, which essentially lands in the Reactor family. Shorter base, less rake.
This felt like it was more in the water and had way more hold, especially through turns. Like it felt like it was just really planted in the water and it wasn't gonna like flatten out or lose its speed or whatever. It just felt like it was just carrying speed, and the more speed I got on the wave, the faster it would go.
The Matt by Ollie fin is gonna be a bit more pivot, right? It's gonna be quicker in the pocket. Got this McFanning fin.
From up here?
Right here. So look at the base here. You know what I mean? You match the two. You can kind of see the white right there. So there's a bit more base. This one's gonna have, Mick's gonna have a bit more drive. The Mayhem's gonna have a bit more pivot.
This is like a board once the waves are pretty solid, and I feel like once I pop the mediums in, I have more room to like turn the board up in the lip, kind of like if I'm doing a wrap or like going up and kicking tail. I feel like I'll have more kind of control and room to like release the fins or like turn it in the pocket. Where with the larges, I feel kind of more like, feels a little bit more stiff. Where if I'm bottom turning, it feels like I almost got to go out more instead of like straight up. Do you think the switching from medium to larges and like at like pipe where it's barreling is a big difference too?
For me, at pipeline or at backdoor, the first pump is a long jump. You know what I mean? Can you pump and go 6 feet, or can you pump and jump 12 feet? And a lot of times we both know that it's a game of inches when you're surfing waves like that. You know what I mean? That could keep you in the foam ball, and you know, with the larges a little bit mixed, that could just spring you 3 foot forward, which makes you make the wave.
Now that I'm getting older and like starting to realize how much fins are like a part of it, I'm starting to get more like curious and like what these fins do.
Thank you for having me, buddy.
Hey, thanks for
I appreciate it.
sharing the knowledge. Love it.
I love you.